They both went 50-50, or knock for knock. But they tell you what points are happening as you go along and declare what is the back. They're doing a little round robin here. What they're doing is, if you're thrown, you're out. So as soon as you get thrown, you're out and the next man's in. So which keeps it lively, it's good training, it's quite exciting. And of course, if you keep throwing them, you've got to stay in. So you know you're going to start sweating and get a bit tired, and it gets harder to stay in. So eventually you might lose it. But a good little wrestling technique for training and for fitness and to keep you on your toes. But of course they're lively little ferrets here, you can see, but they're all relatively lightweight. Slightly slow. When you get to your heavyweights, it's always a slightly slower pace there. But they do love the wrestling in Brittany, and they're very well supported under heritage, you know, from government and everybody else. And there is hundreds of wrestlers over there. So if you win an Interceltic contest against the Bretons, you know you've done an achievement there, because the numbers are phenomenal. In Cornwall, there's nothing like the numbers they have in Brittany, where they've got every town you go has got a proper club and affiliated wrestlers there. Their numbers are in the hundreds. Whereas nowadays in Cornwall, we're very limited to the number. We've only got 2 clubs, and the number of senior wrestlers is scarily small, really, when you're trying to preserve a sport this old and keep it going. Yeah, if anybody wants to come round and see us at the tent, and they can find out the details, get a fixture list for the upcoming tournaments throughout the season. There will be at least half a dozen tournaments for the championships throughout the county, and various demonstrations and displays, and you can pick up a fixture list to see where it's all happening and look at the county trophies, the belts and cups that are still wrestled for today. You still win the ancient cups from the 20s, and we have some even older trophies and belts in there, some of them that were won in different parts of the world and came back to Cornwall from the mine in wrestling abroad. Yeah, I think you just said that was nothing, so we carry on. But a lob is what we call a lamb, and that's their back. That's the 2 shoulders down simultaneously. And when we're mentioning lamb, it is traditional over there. If you win an open tournament, you win a sheep. And it's quite often you go and see them, and that is the prize. They come away and they parade around the ring with a sheep over their shoulders, around the neck, because that was the prize. And also, I know in the 20s, some areas offered a bull. You could win a bull at the wrestling. So I don't know quite what you do with that nowadays. So I think take it round the back of the beef burger wagon and get an offer for it. It's not everybody wants to take home a bull from the wrestling. And a silk sash is traditionally a Breton prize. Unlike over here where we, well, in the last century, it's usually money was a big prize. But all sorts in the past. Gold and silver lace hats were usually a prize in the 19th and 18th centuries, and you could win a hat reinforced against the attentions of the press gang. So if the press gang were to sneak up behind you, and you could take the cost the first time round, and this reinforced hat gave you a chance to defend yourself or leg it, or whichever you fancy best. But yeah, you could win hats, gloves, trousers, smocks, various prizes throughout the time, but always there's been a little bit of money involved there somewhere. I know in 1827, Abraham Can, in 19 tournaments, won £117, which in 1827 was an awful lot of money. So you could almost be like a professional wrestler in those days. There was that much money involved in the sport. I don't know, Mike, where's the chairman, Mike? Are we going to have any more pairs after? We're going to have one more pair after this. And then you'll be able to come in and see me at the tent and tell me your old stories. Always on the lookout for any Cornish wrestling memorabilia or stories to record. Over rotated that one. It didn't land on his back, he kept spinning right round. I think that looks like the conclusion of the Breton style.